I want to be clear before I say this. I don't know the background of the teenagers involved in this incident. I'm not speaking about their parents specifically because I don't know anything about them. And I'm not assigning blame in this case, all right? I'm speaking about a larger community issue because a lot of our kids now are involved in these type activities, right? So when children show ongoing patterns of risky or delinquent behavior, it does not usually happen in a vacuum. It starts early, elementary school. I'm a teacher. I know this, okay? I've known many of my kids who had that type of behavior and they ended up in prison, okay, when they became adults, okay? So it does not happen in a vacuum. And we need to, and this is why I'm getting ready to say what I will say. Whether it's in a neighborhood, whether that behavior is in school, home, wherever, all right, through prior interactions with the law, we need to start holding their parents, their guardians, the adults responsible for that child accountable for that behavior. Yes, if, now these two things, this is just my thinking. If there is documentation in school records, police records, community records, whatever, that child has been having repeated these behaviors, these misbehaviors, a pattern of it for a year or more, okay? And the parent knew about it and never got that child some help, never tried to seek out a pediatrician or a counseling or anything. So that's like the two-pronged test. This is just my thinking. Adults need to be held accountable for the behavior. As a teacher, I'm thinking about a couple of the kids that I taught who had this type of behavior and ended up in prison. I tried to talk to the parents. Parents don't want to hear it, but listen, parents, I want to tell you. I know sometimes in certain communities we feel like we have been oppressed and it's hard for us to trust. Yes, believe your child. That's your foundation. But if people repeatedly are telling you the same thing, you need to start looking into it because those behaviors carry out into the community. I don't know anything about these boys, okay, that were doing what they're doing. I'm just speaking from a larger issue. When kids start becoming teenagers and start committing crimes, okay? It does not happen in a vacuum. And here's the thing, parents, teachers are not contacting you about simple behaviors. No, if teachers are contacting you about your child's behavior, it's because it is interfering with that teacher's ability to teach. We don't have time to be calling parents, even when they do big things, and we have to do that ourselves. That takes out a lot of time out of our day. Okay? Things led up to this, all right? There were warning signs, I'm sure, all right? As parents, we need to take action. And I'm saying in the community, if these parents are not taking responsibility for their kids, they need to be held accountable for the crime. For example, the other child who got shot, right? Right. If the man who shot them is found not guilty, I think the parents need to pay either the system who paid for his defense or his defense attorney. Yeah. And also the child who went to the hospital, both parents need to split that bill. Yeah, they need to be made accountable. And then so maybe then they will start taking accountability for their children, okay? And until then, and I know it will not solve all of our problems, but it will solve many of our problems if parents took accountability for their children, okay? I know, I'm a teacher, I'm a parent. I have been through it. So it's not blaming or say, oh, I'm better than someone. No, I have children, I have boys too, I have a girl too, okay? So I'm telling you. Now, some parents do understand they tried to get help and couldn't. That's one thing. They should not be held responsible legally. But if these parents who knew and did absolutely nothing from the time that child was small in elementary school, and then that child does something either in elementary school, middle school, or high school, and they did not do anything, those parents should be held accountable for whatever crime committed, restitution that's needed, okay? All right, so tell me what you think. Those are just my thoughts. Let me hear you in the comments section.